So today's weekly norm, we're continuing our journey through the confluence of the core. And we started upwards. We started the diaphragm and the different ways that we can experience and explore relaxed depth of breathing, which is a whole different ballgame from physical. And we determined that you can often breathe better with broader range of motion when you're physically active, if you're not a good breather, and be a poor breather when you're sitting quietly. And the difference can be quite significant. So this quiet, relaxed breathing, which really informs the more dynamic, means that there's not a lot of obstacles there. There's not a lot of tension, not a lot of stress, not a lot of grabbing and holding or disease processes. So we've been talking about that. Tonight, we're going into the solar plexus. The upper part, it's called the third chakra in Chinese medicine and Chinese therapy, theory, but it's the solar plexus with a whole group of nerves called the celiac plexus. And this is responsible from our right up at our inner V down to just above our navel. And there's a lot that goes on in there. It is responsible for our digestion. It is responsible for our psycho-emotional functions. Many of them are strongly influenced in this area. And it is often referred to as the abdominal brain. And it's because of the digestive system and its connection with a large number of organs in this area. So we have a nerve cluster here, and the nerves here stimulate the digestion, stimulate enzyme production, stimulate the movement of digestive products through our body. It also includes the liver, the pancreas, and other organs as well. And very, very important area for the quality of our digestion and how we assimilate with all those foods. But it's also a neurocenter. And that neurocenter has a great deal of psycho-emotional influences, particularly, and it's been really researched out, particularly with anxiety and depression and fear and anger. These are things that are highly volatile in this area, or can be greatly regulated by regulating this area as well. So they can be a great deal of our emotional imbalance can sometimes be regulated simply through the guts. A lot of researchers out there who've discovered the gut as a second brain have stated that future treatments of psychological issues will also include working through the gut and working through those centers in the gut. So it's a powerful emotional center here as well. And the solar plexus is intimately connected with the core body as a whole. First of all, it's totally intimately connected to our diaphragm, because what's coming down on top of that diaphragm and then moving away? What's increasing the pressure in the diaphragm and decreasing the pressure in the solar plexus area? But the diaphragm. It's constantly, when it's healthy and it's moving deeply, it's moving those organs. And the organs don't just move downwards, but as we're going to learn, watch here, the movements of the organs move wave-like downwards, but watch, they also turn, and they have this nice wave-like movement here. So they're constantly being massaged by our breathing. Our core muscles are also connected with that. And if our core muscles only have the integrity of doing, particularly the ab muscles, contracting and relaxing, well, that's one effect that stimulates it. But what if our abdominal muscles can also move wave-like, and move that wave-like deeply down through our organs? Because, why are they moving wave-like? Because our sacrum and our occiput and all of the wave through our spine is moving wave-like. We're not this rigid organ or organism that moves like that. So our abdominal muscles, our skeletal structure, all of these are part of our keys of regulation. And then what else are we stimulating in here? Greatly stimulating the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve. And then what are we doing when we're not collapsing all the time in poor posture? We're opening up the solar plexus and we're keeping it open to fluid. So everything we do in saturation, everything we do when we take those keys of self-regulation into our daily life is stimulating, enlivening, and integrating our solar plexus with all the other plexes, with all the other organs, with all the everything else that is going on in our bodies. So this area, for me, has been profoundly influenced and has had a profound influence on my emotional well-being, as well as my digestive and as well as my respiratory, because if this area is tight, the diaphragm doesn't move well either. So, and that's the solar plexus in a tiny little nutshell, because people have written not volumes on it. But thanks everybody for listening.